All right, we're live. Let's get the Discord notification, which I should probably automate at some point, but that's okay. Anyway, today, more to-do app. I am proud to say that we are completely done the off loop, finally. I wrapped it up off stream because I was sick of doing it on stream. So I'll just run it for you now, just so you can see. Oh yeah, PNPM, jeez. Don't even know my own package manager apparently. Okay, so let me just get the other, there we go. Okay. So I'll just kind of show you what we're working with. So you can obviously, we have this little text here, so you can be redirected to sign up. But we can sign in, and then like that, and then you get a little welcome prompt here, and then you can also sign out, which just removes the token. So that's our basic loop, and then we'll have our to-do list down here. So I'm thinking of having a little form, not even a form really, it'll be like a micro form. It'll be basically just like a little text box with like an add to do button, and it'll let you type in some text, right? So we have to create a, before we do any of this stuff. Oh, and then the other thing is below that form, you'll have a list of incomplete cards, like to-dos that are kind of cards, and then a list of complete crossed out ones underneath, right? So you have like a to-do and then completed. And it'll kind of be a vertically scrolling thing, right? So that's just kind of what I'm thinking. Very, very basic. So you can see on our Obsidian, I have design and generate schema for simple to-do items. And I'm thinking for a to-do, you'll have an ID, user ID, which is a foreign key, content, which is just like the text, and then like an is complete flag, right? Now, I don't know. Actually, I'm going to add a little priority. Let's see db/api/web add date uploaded for to-dos, or due date for to-dos. I'm going to make this a priority 1 item because I don't necessarily know if I fully want to do this, but that'll be something maybe we'll implement at the end. But I just want to get this to work, right? So I have P0, which is like absolutely necessary. P1, which is like would be really nice to have, and then P2 is like something to consider, like as an extra if we want more challenge. That's kind of how I have this set, like high, medium, low priority, basically. Like a need to have, nice to have, and a could be cool to have, sort of thing. Okay, so let's get started. I have a really messy schemas. Actually, no, it will be under schemas, wouldn't it? So we need to do our, wait, not a folder. So it would be to-do.ts, right? So let's get up our drizzle reference. So we don't need that. So yeah, we'll basically just copy the ID, right? So we'll do exports const to-do is equal to PG or to-do table, and then we define a table, or no, it's PG table. Jesus, PG table, and then we give it an ID, which is a UUID dot primary key dot generate random. I think that's the path, right? Default random. That's what it is. Expected 2 to 3 arguments, but got 1. Oh yeah, because we need the name of the table, right? To do. So that's fine. So then we'll add a user ID, which is going to be basically the same as this, right? So we're going to do references. Where do we find user? Maybe we can import that. Yeah, there we go. So user ID is UUID User ID, not null references user ID on delete cascade. That's good, because if we delete a user, although I don't want to really bother adding functionality for deleting users, it doesn't really matter. Because this is just a proof of concept app, but yeah. So we have a user ID, and then we have a content, which is going to be a string, and then we're going to probably do a max length. So if we go to our, I also need to figure out why my keyboard's semicolon sometimes double presses. So that might be just like a keyboard switch issue or something like that. I might need to order a new one. Where do we got this? Data types. I just want to make sure that I can get the length in here. So serial, where's string? Oh, we have text. Text might be better. It's not string. I guess it would be varchar. Length. I want to add like checking for the length though. Like we can do some error checking on that guy. Yeah. So how do we do like the user password? Oh, but that was a Zod schema. My bad. Yeah, that's the other thing is we have these, which are the database schemas, but then they aren't. I need for the next project. I'm not going to do that in this project, but the next project I need to make these work inside of. So I'll just make this a string then. It doesn't really matter, or text. I mean. Okay, and then we'll do dot not null maybe. Do we need to import this? We might. And then we'll say is completed. I think that was the is complete. Yeah. And then we'll say Boolean. And then default will be false. So that's good. So that's our schema. So then we can generate that. I think that's all we need, right? So okay, so in our index, queries index, yeah. So that's the query. And then our schemas, I think it gets from, yeah, all of the schemas. There we go. So then we can do a generate on this guy. So we'll do pnpm run db generate. Yo, how's it going? Nothing. And then we'll do db push as well. And then we'll get our studio up and running as well. And then the problem is I'm going to need to open this with, I don't think this is going to open inside of, I don't really know. I thought I disabled Brave Shields. Dismiss. Whatever. I'll just put this in Chrome. So now we should have that to-do list. Yo, how's it going, Tyler? It's going all right. Nothing. This is, I had a decent Thursday, I want to say. It was all right. No complaints. I hope yours was good too. Keeping on the grind despite all the nonsense going on in the world. Specifically in where I'm at in Eastern Canada and a lot of the Eastern U.S., Northeast U.S., there's a lot of smoke outside, which is annoying. So I haven't been able to go for my walks because I don't really want to, I just got over a cold. I don't want to re-irritate my airways. So that's really annoying. But it is what it is. you know, it's really, really unfortunate for, you know, the folks up north that are having to deal with like the actual destruction of these fires. So yeah, exactly. Well, I actually read a thing that said that like every 30 minutes, like depending on like, so if the air quality is 10, like on Weather Network, if you could see like the air quality being like 10 out of 10 or whatever it is, if it's that high, every like 30 minutes outside is the equivalent of one cigarette or something like that. I read. I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but I saw that. But it's something like that though. It's like where you like it's like every X amount of time that's short, it's like the equivalent of smoking a cigarette. So it's kind of brutal. But anyways, okay, so here's our to-do list. It got transferred over. We have the ID, the user ID, content, and is complete, which is good. So the other thing I'm probably going to want to do eventually is define the Zod schema for that. Yesterday it seemed worse. Yeah. Today it's a little better, but it's like actually, it's less yellow or like orange outside, but it's hazier, at least where I am. It's definitely like there's less visibility for sure. Okay, so that's good. So we can probably make this commit here. db add to do schema generated and pushed. Okay. There we go. Okay. And then now we want to write, so that's good. So we got our schema, and then I'm going to do CRUD queries for the to-do, right? That's the next thing we want to do. And then after that, we're going to get into the backend. So let's do to-dos queries.ts. So we're going to want to import db, and then we're going to want to import to do from the schema. And then do we need any other imports? Yeah, those ones. So that's fun time. So we'll get a type here. So we'll do type. And again, this is something I want to change, and I want to iterate this again. This is something I want to change for the next project. Is I kind of have like the database has types that are defined based on the drizzle schemas, okay, and then those kind of generate types. And I want to make those cohesive with Zod, but I didn't bother with this. CRUD, more like ISUD. Oh, CURD, more like CRUD. No, CRUD, more like ISUD. Oh, I got you. I see. But yeah, see, I want to add this validations. I probably could do this if I wasn't lazy. Actually, you know what? Let's add that. Let's say db add Zod validations. And then we'll do like we'll make that like a P1 requirement. Oh, insert, select, update, delete. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean it is. That is the actual terms. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Create, read, upload. I just know that's CRUD is like the ism that's out there, you know, the descriptor. But anyway, so what is in here? Oh, okay. Restart extensions, it's fine. Okay. So we need that type, right? So let's do type to do type is equal to to do dot type of, right? Type of to do dot infer insert. Is it infer insert? I guess it is. All right, so let's do export const insert to do. But then I'm going to need to be given a user ID, right? Which then we're going to need to get that from the to do type user ID. Because we need to insert a to do based on the user, right? So this is going to be very similar to this guy. Oh, and then we need all that other data too. So we need a content to do type of content, and then a the default is completed is fine, so we don't actually need to include it, because when we create a to-do, it's going to be default. It's going to be not completed by default, so we just need to give it the content and the user. To be fair, CRUD sounds better, rolls off the tongue. Yeah. That's probably why it's stuck, to be honest. But yeah, so let's do our try catch. I need to have a better system for queries, but that's okay. I don't really mind. And then so just session type is a way DB did inserts. Why did I name this the same thing? That's weird. I don't know why I named this type session type, and then this is a constant, which is the same type. I don't know why I did that. I'm just going to leave it, though. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Anyway, actually, you know what? No, it's bothering me. Session. Let's just call it session. Session. Let's just do like this. Okay. All right. So let's do const to do. I could do like new to do or something, like new session. Like new session. That's probably better. There we go. You know, the more I watch you do this, the more I think learning TSJS first off isn't that bad. If you can handle this, you can handle almost anything. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like I see, like I'm not gonna lie, in full transparency, I sometimes see people like senior engineers or whatever they are, like hyper optimizing with like Rust and stuff, and I kind of like feel bad and doing my little peasant to do app, but like at the same time, like I don't know, I feel like this thinking is really, you know, is good in the long term. I guess I play it as if it's like easy, but it really isn't. Like I get discouraged as much as the next guy when I see these like hyper optimized people like using like thousands of Claude dollars or whatever. This is all where it starts. Yeah, exactly. No, for sure. I also think it's an effect of being on X now. I try not to read it that much, but like I'm holy shit. But anyway, backend is not super easy. Not if you want to do it right. Yeah, exactly. But I think it's important then to have, like, it's even more important to have these actual skills instead of, you know, just vibe coding an entire front end back end, especially when like sensitive user data is involved. You know, like, yeah, it's just, you can't F around with that stuff. Because if you get in legal trouble, like, you're fucked. It's good to have a foundation and start from the bottom. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I just, this is going to sound bad, but I wish I saw, like, and I guess we're not really seeing all the failures, but like, I don't know. It still seems like vibe coding like is a thing that's being pushed like heavy on the internet. And I'm not saying like that's not a good thing. I just like, I'm surprised it's working. Like, I don't know. And it must just be marketing. Like, I guess it's just marketing. But I see it, and it, like, you know, the human part of me is like, wow, they really must be hitting on something. But it, you know, I know it's vapid, but at the same time, I can't help but be kind of inspired by the success. T-App is one, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, was that? Oh, I feel like I've heard that name too. I feel like I've heard that. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. But I will admit, it does get discouraging sometimes because I'm only human. So it's going to be a db.insert, and then we're going to do, I just forget like the format of this. Yeah, so it's to do .values, and then I think I just do it like it's an object, right? Yeah. So then I just do user ID. Oh no, the ID is generated. So user ID and then content, and then dot returning, and then return new to do. Right? There we go. Yeah, let me look up T-App. I forget what it is. Is that like dating surveillance mobile phone application? Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's basically like that's really fucked up, actually. Yeah. I remember hearing about this. Yeah. That's kind of fucked up. Yeah. I think, like, think about, like, and I don't mean to be, whatever, but think about if it was like the reverse, you know? I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna make an app like that, you have to allow anybody to criticize anybody else, right? At the very least, like don't make it just like one way. Like you have to make like whatever, whether it's a heterosexual, like homosexual, like polyamorous relationship, you should be allowed to, like, if you're gonna make an app like that, like allow anyone to criticize anyone, right? I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of my my take on that. But anyway, okay, so that's our insert, and then yeah, equality, yeah, exactly. So then we're gonna do a I should probably be testing these, but that's fine. So we're going to do a select by ID. So I want to do an export const select to do by ID. And then we'll do an ID is to do type ID. I think I just need this, and then my try catch. And then we do const to do, selected to do is equal to await db dot select to do dot or select all from to do where id or to do dot id is id, right? Oh, and then equals, right? I need to do this. Yeah, and then import this guy. Sure. Is that not the right equals? I don't know. Overload. Oh, because ID might be undefined, right? So if not ID, just return. That's fine. And then we'll do return selected to. That's good. Let's just clean this up a little bit. We'll do our dot select, dot from, dot where. So it looks a little nicer. Oh, so this is the to-do app. Yeah, we're done off. Actually, I want to show you the, this code looks so SQL-like, so why not just SQL? Because I don't know. Partially just to learn the ORM, but also just because, I don't know. If you okay, so the biggest benefit, I'm not gonna lie, Omri, is that if I were to, someone were to clone this, and maybe you could, say whatever, but if someone were to clone this, they could essentially generate this code into a database on their system. I'm JS maxing, yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is the to-do app. I finished the auth loop, so like, I'm logged in right now. I can sign out, and then I can create an account. So I can do like user to @example.com. And then password 1, right? And then user 2 @example.com, and then password. And if I get the password wrong, it'll say so, right? So the password needs to be right. You're logged in, and then you can sign out, and then it removes the session. So, so I could sign out and then log back into my Ben account. There we go, just like that. So the auth is finished. Amen. I did this earlier today because I just wanted this little sign out to be finished. Am I going to do email verification or no? No, I'm not for this project, but I am going to for when I return to the file uploader, I'm going to do that. I actually decided that I did roll my own auth here, but I think for the file uploader, I'm going to go back to better auth, just for speed. And just because I want to practice using better auth in my stack with Hano. So, but yeah, just for this like toy app, like no, I'm not going to worry about email verification because like whatever. The main thing was literally just to test out the stack, right? To learn Hano, to learn Drizzle, right? So that's kind of what the goal of this was. So anyway, all right. So that's all right. So that's good. This should be fine. And then I'm going to. Oh, and then I want to just return the first result too. So I'm just going to return the first result. Yeah. No, for sure. I get that. Yeah. Like how far I was going to take it. Yeah. I want to do, because I'm thinking like this is not anything I'm going to like upload anywhere serious, but I for the file uploader, I might actually use that. on like a portfolio or something. Maybe, I don't know. So I want to take that one a little bit more seriously for like actually like being complete. This is just like to test like auth and CRUD basically. So I'm going to do select all to do by user. And then we'll do user ID, and then to do type is user ID. And then this is going to be basically the same thing, except we're going to just do where equals to do dot user ID is user ID, and then we're just not going to return. We're going to return the list of them. And then we'll just say selected to-dos or user to-dos. I could probably consolidate these two into two functions, or sorry, into one function, but just for like sake of verbosity, I guess, just to see everything, I don't mind a little bit of mostly duplicated code for this toy project. So, because yeah, I could probably combine that into one function and then have like a optional whether you include like the to-do ID or the user ID. Oh yeah, 100%, 100%, I would. Yeah, like for something that's gonna be deployed, like I am not deploying this one. The file uploader I might deploy. This I'm not deploying though. I have no plans to deploy. This is just like just gonna be local fun. But yeah. And in fairness, I mean, doing the streams is also kind of a form of documentation as well. Learning experience, yeah, that's exactly the goal. It's exactly the goal. Definitely learning experience. Because again, I think learning. It feels so undervalued now, or underappreciated, I guess. Just in the broad tech sphere. Everyone's just so AI pilled. That's the best way to put it. I didn't actually realize how AI pilled developers were until I went on to X. Actually, I mean, I know X is its own little like monocosm or whatever, like microcosm, whatever. It's kind of like a its own ecosystem, but there's no one talking, like it's all AI. Like everything on my thing is AI related. Like there's no one doing what I'm doing, really. There's that guy doing the code forces stuff that I've seen. You can make a file uploader monolith for sort of portfolio project. Yeah, that's the goal. But yeah, no. Other than that, code forces dude that you posted, I'd seen a couple of his live streams. Seems pretty similar to honestly. You hate the AI pill direction we're going. Yeah, exactly. Like what's the newest thing too? Like the loops. Like people doing loops. I don't even know what that means, but people are talking about it, right? It's the next big hype thing. And like this Kimi K3 that dropped, right? From the Chinese model that's supposedly better than Opus 4.9 or whatever Opus version's out. 4.8. And it's like, that's all well and good, but it's too much, right? Like it's too much. It's too like death spiral. Every year they say this about Kimi. Yeah. I don't know. I honestly haven't been following it. Like I've only been following this bubble now for like the last couple of weeks. Very tangentially. Like I'm talking like I scroll X for 15 minutes on my lunch break and then I'm like, okay, that's enough. And maybe do a couple reposts or whatever. For like the one sane person I see in the sea of people kind of that are, yeah, for lack of a better term, AI pilled. So A sea of mental illness, yeah. It honestly seems, it's also like a LARP fest too. Like, in the sense that everyone's just like, I feel like everyone's just pretending to be someone they're not. Like, it's very disingenuous. Yeah. It's like LinkedIn, but like way worse. Like LinkedIn's like all sanitized for corporate, but X is just like raw, unfiltered. It seems like compared to, but like LinkedIn's the same level of like role play though. It feels like anyway. A lot of LARP, yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like when I stream, am I LARPing a little bit? Sure, but like I feel like everyone has to some extent, right? But there are like varying degrees of this sort of stuff, and authenticity, I guess, varying degrees of authenticity, and just honesty. Yo, how's it going? Mood. I don't think you're LARPing at all because you're learning so much. Yeah, no, I mean more so in like, and I guess it's not really LARPing, but like in the sense that I'm playing the role of like the live streamer, I guess. Like it feels like a LARP, but it isn't, I guess. I'm not LARPing in the sense that I like have feigned intellect or whatever. Like I'm not pretending to, yeah, like as you say, I'm not pretending to be a guru, which is kind of funny that you mentioned that because people in my stream, I get a lot of people sometimes, not a lot, but they think that I'm an expert, and I'm like, no, you know, yeah, that's exactly what I am. I'm just a regular dude, you know, trying to better my situation, and learn web dev. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Just that's how it started, and that's how it's continuing. Yeah, I'm just a guy. I have a regular job. I make a regular living. You know, pretty average life, I would say. I mean, I have had a lot of, you know, blessings in my life, but you know, fairly average, I would say. And by average, I mean like for somebody in CS, like somebody who did a CS path or whatever. Like I feel like I had a pretty average experience. I got pretty average grades. I got a pretty average job out of CS, right? I don't know. But yeah, anyway. All right, what are we doing now? So we select all to do by user, select all to do's by user ID, and then we need a modify to do, update to do by ID, and then we're gonna need an ID, update to do content maybe. So we're gonna need to type ID and then a new content is gonna be to do type content. And then I'll also have a toggle to do. Toggle to do by ID, that's the other one I'm gonna do. So I'll do another one. Average is okay, you got the drive in the brain, you'll be fine, yeah. I hope so. I mean, I value thinking, which I think is something that, you know, a lot of people these days can't really say. So, maybe that's a little being a little bit cynical, but it seems as though that a lot of people are very much pleased with letting the AIs, for lack, you know, and I'm using AI mostly just as a catch-all, but like just letting them do all the thinking, right? Yeah, thinking's outsourced to AI. Like there's no need for intellectual pursuits anymore, or at least that's how it seems, right? That's what people want you to believe, right? And I honestly think, and this is kind of, I think I might have mentioned this before, but I think a lot of people who really love and peddle AI are doing so to kind of make up for their own insecurity surrounding their ability to critically think on their own, right? And I'm not saying that's true in every single case, definitely not, but I think in a lot of cases people who maybe find critical thinking more challenging and maybe weren't as good at it really love AI because it kind of gives them the sense of competence without actually having it. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, sure, that's cool, and I understand why they value it, but at the same time, like, it leads to like not like whatever the opposite of like authenticity is, right? It's like not authentic at all. I just can't think of the words today. Let's go to update. Where's update here in the queries? Here we go. All right, I just want to make sure we got this right. Okay, so we'll do, this is pretty simple. So I'll do a try catch. My motto is always, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Yep. I totally agree. Although there are some things that I will fully admit I am not an expert. Like anything, like I could never be a blue collar worker, for instance. I am very much not a like hands-on learner. Like I am hands-on in the sense that like of like building things with like software or whatever like that. But when I'm talking about like physical. I use AI a lot lately for boilerplate. Yeah, I can see myself 100% starting to use AI for that type of thing as well. But no, when it comes to like physical stuff, like building, yeah, I'm a hands-on learner, I guess, in the sense that I'm typing, but like carpentry skills, plumbing, auto mechanic, like mechanical stuff, like that stuff I've never been good at. I did shop class and metalworking class in high school, but I like struggled kind of. Doesn't help too that like I have very poor fine motor skills as well. Like I have terrible handwriting. But yeah, so like that type of thing, like if I were to, let's say like HVAC, for example, if my AC broke, I would not trust myself to fix it ever, or even learn. I would hire someone to do that. I used to do HVAC when I was younger, and I did all the schematics for the gas pipes. That's that part I'd be okay at, I think. It's more so the actual like opening up the wall and doing it part that I'd be bad at. And I think the reasoning for that is because working with physical stuff is inherently imperfect, where like code is like idealistic, and in the sense that there's like a clear right and wrong way versus like, I guess just with these physical things, there's a little bit of room for error, which I don't really love. Anyway, okay, let's keep going. Tearing stuff down is always more fun than building it, at least to me. Yeah, no, I can tear stuff down. Don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, even in like biology, right? Like, we would dissect specimens, right? Really cool things. Like we did, we did a sea urchin, which is like incredibly alien thing. We did like sea star, dogfish, which is like a shark, squid, like these sorts of cool like invertebrate animals. And like I would absolutely desecrate the corpse, or the specimen. But squid are so cool. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, no, I would, but that process of dissecting specimens in biology was really fun. Like I really liked that, and like picking apart the different organs and seeing like, okay, cool, this is like, this is where the brain is or whatever, and like this, and then okay, here's the eye, and then here's the digestive tract and whatever. You need like 10 plus tools to install a sink and just one to dismantle it. Yep, exactly. Like demolition. My granddad, when I was a little kid, I'll never forget this. He was DIYing his kitchen, and I was probably like 10, and he just gave me a hammer and let me go to town on like one of the cabinets. Oh, you got to do that once in high school? Oh yeah, we did the fetal pigs too. We did fetal pigs. We did the frogs, which is very typical. We actually, maybe I won't say. Well, no, I don't know. We did a cat in grade 12, which was kind of sad, but it was it was we had to use it apparently according to my teacher. Yeah, it was kind of sad, but it is what it is, I guess, right? All right, to do dot set, and then we'll do content is new content, and then we'll do a dot where on this guy. Whoops. And then equals ID or to do dot ID and ID, right? So that's good. Return updated to do. Yeah, see, it does the double semicolon sometimes. I don't know. Can't really. Sometimes it doesn't even register. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. How am I doing? I'm doing all right, Bucky. How are you? I'm not squeamish, but yeah, it's. I'm a little squeamish, but yeah, it was. We did it like as a group. Like there was like probably 6 of us doing the one cat. To be honest with you. Anyway, but yeah. All right, so. All right, so that's that one, and then this one's just going to be another easy one. And then we'll just do. Yeah, see, it did the double. I don't know. I have to fix my keyboard. Oh well. Yep, just did it there again. Double input. Const. Actually, I probably don't need to do this. Dot update to do dot set, and then I'm going to do is complete is going to be to do is going to be not to do dot is complete. So we're just going to toggle it, and then dot where equals to do dot ID is ID, and then return updated to do. There we go. Okay. And then we need to delete to-dos as well. So we'll probably have like a delete to-do by ID. Yeah, like see all of these boilerplate things, like I could get, although I do like VS Code's abbreviations for a lot of these things, but yeah, this is a lot of mostly repeated code, but that's okay. I don't really mind. So const deleted to do is equal to db. I would imagine it's the same idea. Dot delete to do dot where, and then equals to do dot ID. I'd imagine this is how this works. Although there might be a returning. There might be a returning that I need. Delete. Yeah, I want to do the dot returning. Oh, and then we can just do the deleted. We can just still return the whole thing, right? Yeah. The other thing with Drizzle is it makes it really easy to insert SQL. Like as you can see, I don't know if that's covered by my face, but you can kind of see this right here, or even up here. You can just insert SQL like that. Anyway, actually, I should probably zoom this in a little bit anyway, just so you can see it. Do I need anything else? Delete to do by ID. And then maybe like, well, so the to-dos delete on cascade. So if we do delete a user, I can always come back and write like a clear function. Like, so if the user wanted to just like nuke all of their to-dos, they could. But I'm going to leave that for now, I think. So that's fine. So let's do db write crud queries for to-do schema. Okay, that's good. All right, so now the next step is the backend, right? So we have the database with all the queries that we need, and then I actually think I need to export. Yeah, so I need to do these exports a little nicer. So I think I'm actually gonna, let's just do all the imports. So let's do import all from, and then to do queries. Oh, and then the other thing I need to do, I think I need to, why is this not, oh, as to do from, there we go. And then let's do that with all the rest of these. So we'll do, this is gonna cause some refactor as well. So it's gonna be a bit of refactor in the API side, but that's fine. So we're gonna do imports as user from user queries. And then remove these, and then import as session from sessions queries, right? And then, so we'll just export the 3 of these. So user, session, to do. And then that makes the exports a little better. So then inside of our API, we're gonna need to change how we call those queries a little bit, but that's fine. Hey, one question. How do you find time to do this stuff? I know you have a job. So basically, and I don't mean to sound condescending when I say this, but this is genuinely my process. So I work, my work schedule, the first thing is my work schedule, Zoro, is very consistent. So I work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, right? Not exactly, but the exact hours don't really matter, but it's roughly 9 to 5. Right, so like, I get up in the morning, eat breakfast, brush my teeth, work, and then I'm done by like, the evening, right before dinner, right? And I designate evenings, like, usually I try to do 3 or 4 evenings in the week that either my girlfriend's at work or she's here but doing her own work or whatever it is to stream. And then I do 1 or 2 streams on the weekend, depending on what I'm doing. So yeah, and then I just, every week I sit down and I decide, okay, today I'm going to stream on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever, right? Whatever it is. I try to get in 5 streams a week. Last week I was sick, but so I didn't. But yeah, and then I just designate a time, and then I say, okay, so tonight I'm going to stream at 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and I just do it. And I do my 5 Pomodoros, which is 2.5 hours, because I feel like that's a good balance between length and not burning out. Sometimes if I'm really feeling it on a weekend, I'll do 3 hours. But I find doing those focused sessions, and I mean, okay, are they focused with chat? Not super focused, to be honest with you, a lot of the times, but it's kind of a mix of coding and also interacting with you guys and kind of sharing my process, right? So that's kind of comes with it. But yeah, that's kind of how I do it. And I treat this as a part-time job. I think the most important thing to consistency, at least for me, is treating this like it like is a job that matters. Like I show up, I clock in, right? Like, and that's not to say that like sometimes like some people might think it takes the fun out of it, but for me, it like holds me accountable and actually gets me to where I want to be, right? Even if it makes like, no, actually, I still haven't made anything off of this yet. I'm awaiting approval for monetization, but that's still coming. It's taking a while. But compensation aside, that's kind of how I do these things. I treat it like a job. So yeah. All right, so let's go into our API. So this is going to break our controller, right? Which is expected because our queries are going to be so we are going to have to do query dot user dot, right? And then we're going to have to do query dot user dot, which is actually good. Query dot user dot, and then query dot session dot, I think for this one. And then query dot session dot, and then query dot user dot, query dot session dot, query dot session dot, and then I think it's also query dot user dot. There we go. There we go. Nice. So then we're going to probably commit that. Let's just say like db/API. Let's just do db refactor query exports, something like this. Okay, that's good. All right, so now we have our database queries done. So the next topic is to do our create router for to-dos. Okay, so let's do that. So we're gonna need to do a new router, and we're gonna call this to-do router.ts. And then I just kind of forget how this is. Okay, so this is just const to-do router is equal to new, I think it's just a new Hano, right? And then we just import that. I think that's how this is. Okay, so it's to-do, actually, to-do. And then we just add our middlewares underneath that, and then we'll export default to-do. And then in our controllers, we'll add to-do controller.ts, right? Which is good. We could probably remove this because we don't need that. Thanks, man. I'm trying to work on this myself as well. So I find it hard. I guess it comes down to being disciplined. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's not just discipline though. I will say, you don't have to just rely on discipline, because at least for me, and this just goes for my case, but having the community that I do and knowing that you guys are, supporting me and watching and maybe getting something from my journey, honestly motivates me to continue. And that I wouldn't call that discipline, because when I think of discipline, I think of like gritting through something when you really don't want to do it, right? But like I genuinely, like, more times than not, look forward to coming to stream, because I know you guys are going to be watching, and I know I'm building something cool, and my community grows every single day, and that honestly just brings me joy. Like, I really enjoy that process, and I have a lot of fun with it, and meeting all of you cool people from all around the world, and kind of seeing that there's still kind of a passion for this manual learning of development is cool. So I don't know, that kind of whole thing kind of motivates me, and I eventually want to steer it into a direction that'll be hopefully more beneficial to beginners than it already is, whether that's like developing course material or maybe even like tutoring or something like that. I genuinely don't know where I'm going to take this, but eventually, like, I want to build something out of this, and I think seeing that grow is, as I said, super motivating, and it helps me show up, and motivates me to continue learning so that I can reach those goals, right, of whatever it might be, whether it's helping more people basically, and kind of being a voice against all of the nonsense that's in the tech space right now, especially for like younger people ages 18 to 24, like the age that I just was, right? It can be very intimidating, I think, coming into the space, as I did 3 years ago. So how's the Toronto sky right now? Is it still orange? I mean, I'm not in Toronto, so I can't say, but where I am, it's hazy, but it's not I wouldn't say it's orange. Yesterday it was pretty orange, at least here. But I'm outside of Toronto, a bit of ways, but yeah. Anyway, okay. So, I don't think. Okay, so there's our queries. That's fine. That's fine. We can get rid of that, and then our controller. We're going to import query from DB. It's one thing we're going to import. And then we're going to need to add this router to the art index, right? So we're just going to do app.route/to-do, to-do, right? Then we'll import the to-do from routers, right? So that's good. And I think that's pretty much all we need for actually getting the router to like do anything, right? So that's cool. Oh yeah, I forgot you're in the Atlantic Ocean. Nah, I'm not in the Atlantic Ocean. Not quite. Great Lakes area. I'll say that. Great Lakes area. So that would include Toronto, but I'm not in Toronto. But no, I won't say exactly what city just for privacy, but yeah, it's like around. It's nearby-ish, not really actually. But you know, I don't really care because it's such a big metro area anyway. Like everywhere from like Toronto to like, honestly, if you go east, like all the way to like, I don't know, Oshawa maybe, and then all the way to like, you know, Niagara Falls. That whole area around Lake Ontario is one big metroplex anyway, with like many different communities in it. So even extending like toward like Waterloo area and like Guelph and stuff, like that's also kind of sort of connected. Not really, but it's nearby. I don't know, that's a very, very southern Ontario moment, but anyway. Okay, so what do I need to do? I'm kind of waffling here. Let's do our little commit for this. So we'll say API create or define router for to-dos, right? So that's good. So we're going to do that. And then, so now we're actually going to start writing our middleware. So the first middleware I think I'm going to want is we're going to do export const to do, and then I want the same format. So the format's going to be router route action. So it's going to be to do create get or post, right? To do new post, maybe. Async C is the context. I need to import the context as well. Context from Hano, and so that's good. So cool. It's a monolith. Yeah, it's a mono repo. Yep. All right. So it's almost 7:30 my time, 7:24, which means that I have to feed my cat. So I'm going to use this opportunity to feed him because if I wait another 30 minutes, he's going to be very upset with me. If you own a cat, you know what I mean. So I'm going to take a minute, 90 seconds here. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I'm just going to feed him, and so he's happy. And yeah, be right back. All right, I'm back. Cool. He is ravenously eating right now. Yo, how's it going, Epic Farhan? Feed me, please. Yes. He today is chicken and gravy again because the chicken and gravy cans are on sale, and we feed him pretty good stuff, like you know, because I want to make sure he's got nothing but the best. If you're a pet owner, you know what I'm talking about. So we feed him pretty expensive stuff. It's like $3 a can, which doesn't sound like a lot, but he goes through 1 can a day. So $3 times 30, that's like, you know, plus tax, it's like over $100 a month just for wet food. And then he also gets kibble, and he also gets litter, and he also gets that. Like, so it's pretty, you know, it's a few $100 a month to take care of a cat. So, yeah, I don't know. And plus, like, my girlfriend talked me into pet insurance, which, like, I get, but I don't know. It's pricey. That's all I'll say. So, yeah. But that's what you do for animals that you take in your home, right? You they're members of the family, so. But no, honestly, he is incredibly well behaved. I've mentioned this before, but we kind of we adopted him. He's 7.5. His former owners relinquished him because the, I guess, wife of the couple got allergic or something because she got pregnant and it changed her allergies. I don't know. So anyway, so they relinquished him to the adoption agency. So we picked him up, and he's incredibly well behaved and huge as well. He's nearly 18 pounds, but we're working on that. Do you give your kitties clothes too? No, he does not like those. Like, he doesn't even wear his collar, to be honest with you, unless we're taking him out. Sometimes I take him like on his harness, like out in the hallway, just to get some exercise. But no, I don't usually put even a collar on him, unless, yeah, he's going out to the vet or something like that. Am I diverging from Odin right now? Yeah, I am a little bit, innovation. So basically, TLDR, I created my own stack, and I'm basically making a very simple to-do app to test my own stack. And then after this app, which I should be done in the next, I want to say, like, genuinely, like 2 or 3 streams from now. Like, because we're starting the to-do stuff. The auth is finished. We're starting the to-do stuff. I've been making decent progress. I should have the back end for the to-do mostly finished by today. And then the front end might be a little finicky. But then, like, once we're done that, I'm going to go back to the file uploader project on the Odin project. So if I go to Odin here, it's this file uploader one right here. So I'm going to be using my stack to build this, although I think I'm going to be using Better Off. Instead of running my own. For this test project, I ran my own auth just for practice. Because again, it's good to get those reps in. But yeah. So anyway, that's that. So all right. So we're gonna do our middleware for the back end. Your dog has a life jacket for the boat. Yeah. Our my parents have a golden retriever, and they you know, when he was a puppy, he had a life jacket. He doesn't. We don't have a, you know. We had a boat at the time, but he had a life jacket as well. I rolled my own auth for my own little framework. Yep, I did. So you can see all of the middleware that I have for it here. It's a 140 line document. It's kind of messy, but it does the job. So I have, like, it's very basic session based auth. So I have, like, a sign up, sign in, sign out. I can actually show you the route real quick. So I'm signed in right now as this user. I can sign out, and then I can sign back in if I don't type so fast. But if I get, like, the wrong password or something, it'll say so. It'll say incorrect password. And then, like, if I do an email that doesn't exist, it'll say user doesn't exist. So that's pretty cool. That's it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I did all right for my first session-based auth, I think. Oh, and then in the back end, or not the back end, I guess, but here, I've got a session token as a cookie. It's just a generated hexadecimal number. I think it's 16 bytes, I think, I want to say. But yeah. You want to not say incorrect password, incorrect credentials, just because it gives attackers idea of what they're missing. Yeah, that's fair. So what would you say? Login failed. Ah, got you. Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, that's totally valid. Did I use proper hashing and timeouts? Yeah, so I did use proper hashing. So if I go to my database, you can see that the user has a hash password, right? It's stored hashed. And I also use sessions that have expiries as well. So, oh no, for sure, and I appreciate it. And the sessions do expire, and then the expiry is also attached to the cookie as well. So the cookie will expire, and then I have a thing in my front end here, context. I have an auth provider context as well that I wrote, as well as, that's mostly what we did yesterday. And then, what's the other thing I did? A verifier. So this is like a wrapper for the subcomponents to verify protected routes, right? So, and if it's not verified, then it'll navigate back to the sign-in page. So, yeah, I don't know. It was pretty involved, honestly, but it was good. It was good learning. Also, if they're enumerating usernames and trying to go through a list to find one, you don't want the site to tell you it exists if they don't already know type thing. Ah, gotcha. So then I guess, yeah, it's mostly my thinking for having that information is from a UX perspective, but I totally understand what you're saying. And I don't know how you actually strike a balance then between UX and like trying to be, careful from attackers. Thank you, Innovation. I appreciate that. And I learned a shit ton doing that, to be honest with you. Like rolling that off, like that was pretty involved. And it was actually more complicated in some ways than doing the JSON web tokens. Just be as vague and broad as possible when you can when it comes to that stuff. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, again, if it was something that I was like deploying as as an actual like in production app, yeah, I 100% would take those into consideration. Yeah, that's totally valid. I bet, honestly, though, that being said, I have seen enough dog shit authentication things that I bet like there's so much out there right for the picking. Session is harder than JWT because you have to manage state. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, the JWT you just kind of leave up to the. Yeah, like you kind of just leave it up to the to the library. At least I did. But anyway. All right, so let's do this back end here. All right, so we need to create a new to do, right? So let me think about how I want to do this. Do I need to validate anything? So we're going to be getting in, our context is going to be a user ID, right? So the other thing is we're going to say const, I think I just usually do body, yeah. So const body is equal to await c.request.json. And then it's just going to be a user ID. This is not the best typing, but it'll do. And then this is a function, but it's okay. So eventually, like for my next project, I want to integrate Zod across the database, the back end, and the front end. But right now, Zod is only on the front end. Yo, how's it going, Sword? Welcome, welcome. Long time no see, my friend. I hope you're doing well. So we got our body, and then we're going to need to validate the body, probably. So if body.user_id or type of body.user_id is not equal to string, then we're going to do an HTTP exception from Hano, and then we'll say a type 401 message is like failed to create new to do item or something. Or let's just say invalid. Again, this is something where maybe you want to be more vague, but for my own purposes, so I can see for debugging, I'm just going to say invalid user ID. Or actually, no. Let's have this the other way around. Failed to create to-do item, invalid user ID. Let's just do that. ID. I want ID to be capitalized. There we go. That's fine. All right. So now, I think we just run the query essentially, right? So we'll say, oh, and the other thing in this new is I'm going to need to get the content, right? And I'm also going to need to check the content. So I'm going to say if not body.content or type of body.content is not equal to string, and actually that can probably be done. On the server, like checking that the content's not empty, or I mean on the client. Failed to create to-do item, content could not be found. Something like that. Okay, and then so that's enough, and then we'll do our to-do. So we'll say const new to-do is equal to query dot to-do dot insert to-do, and then we'll do our body dot user ID, and then body dot content, right? And then we'll say if new to-do, then we'll do return. What is the problem with this? Oh yeah, I need to await it, of course. Return c dot JSON success is okay. Else, or actually, I probably don't need an else, do I? Do I need to throw an exception? Yeah, probably. Throw HTTP exception, but this is going to be a server error this time. I'll say message internal server error, or failed to create. Something like this. What's the problem here? Return? Oh, throw new, sorry. That's why, okay. It needs to be constructed. There we go. Good. So, that should be everything we need for that. Now, of course, this isn't going to be able to be run. You're not going to be able to just send queries here, but you're going to have to verify the, because I need to protect that route, right? So what I'm going to have to do is in my auth controller, I have a verify get, right? So every time that I run that, I'm going to have to do, the other thing is I'm going to need to call the next as well. So let's do that. Let's look up the Hano. Documentation, middleware, no, not that, guides, middlewares, await next. Because I'm going to need to call the next function inside of this, right? Because if I'm using this auth verify get as a, because like for every to-do controller, right, or for every to-do inside of the router, I want to route everything through the verifier first, right? Because I don't want unauthorized users to be able to obviously mess around with to-dos, right? So that's the idea. So I need to think about, okay, so how do I use async? So I think that's in conjunction with, yeah, so I would need to include next here. but I don't know what type that is. Next. Ah, okay, it's just that. Okay, nice. If new to do, then I don't know if I can know if there's a. I'm gonna wait next, I guess. If there is no, yeah, I could just do this. Because either way, the only problem is with this, if there's an error from the next function, I don't know if that will cause trouble. I can give it a shot. I don't know if this will work or not because I'm skeptical. But I think if if we're waiting next and then there is an error in the next, so like, oh wait, actually no, it wouldn't be in here. My bad. It would be inside of the auth controller. It would be here, right? So the next would actually be here. I was not thinking about that. Okay. So we don't want next here. That doesn't matter. Okay. Wait next. Oh, because I added it to the wrong freaking function because I can't see the function delineations, apparently. So that's what we want. Okay. Should probably separate each one of these into its own file, but meh, it's okay. It's just a small app, right? So I'd think, if we're running, like, let's say we're the next in the chain is this to do new post. I would assume that these, if an HTTP exception was caught, it would be caught in here, and then this wouldn't, so something like this. I don't know. So that's fine. Now we need to test this, I guess. We just need to hook it up to the router. So we'll do to-do.get or .post, I guess it would be. But the problem is, actually, this is interesting because this verify is a get method, and then the making a new one is a post method. So I don't actually know how that will work. I don't know if that'll actually work at all. So we might be in shit there. Your own web dev stack mean? It basically means that I am using my own set of tools to create a full stack app, right? So, like I'm using React and Vite for the front end. I'm using Hano for the back end. I'm using Drizzle ORM and Postgres for the database. And I'm using just TypeScript with Zod for shared types. So, yeah. Okay, so I think I'm running into a little bit of a hiccup here because I don't think I can do a get and a post in the same thing, right? So I'm going to need to do maybe an auth verify post. Maybe I should just have this as a post to begin with. Because that will complicate things. We want to combine. And maybe I need a getter and a post as well, because I could have a verify get and a verify post. But I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if I put this middleware, because I think in middleware, it doesn't matter. The middleware isn't what's attached to the route, right? So I think I should probably rename this to just auth verify, because we might be using it inside of a get or a post, now that I think about it. Right? Something like that. I don't think that'll break anything inside of my web, because we're just hitting that verify. Yeah, so that's fine. So that's good. All right, so we're fine there. Okay, so let's just do to-do.post, and we'll say the route is create, or let's just do new. And then we'll do our auth verify and to do new post. I think that's fine. Right, I think. The other thing that I noticed too with this Hano is there is a basic auth built into Hano, which we could look into. But I'm not 100% sure how that works with the backend, or with the database, I mean. So this is the middleware, right? But I don't know how that works with the, I guess maybe you have your own schema, right? Good night, Sword. I hope you have a good night. So we could look into that, but we could also use better auth as well. Anyway, LLM mode. Uh-oh. Oh, these are the docs for the LLM, I see. That's pretty funny. Okay, so I think we're ready to test this. Maybe, right? So to test it, though, we're going to need to, I think the server's still running. Yeah, it is. Okay. So we're going to need to sign in, which is fine. So let's sign in and then put in a new to-do. So let's try this. Okay. And then we're going to do our post to, it's going to be /to-do/new. And then we're going to need a user ID. I think, right? We're going to need to send the user ID and the controller and the body, or the content. So let's change our body to user ID is, we're going to need to get that user ID, which is kind of a pain, but we can get that. Let's go to Chrome. We'll get that user ID. Here we go. So user ID is this, and then we'll do content test to do. Okay. And then we'll do that post, and then because we have our cookie, here, this should work in theory. I mean, I didn't get any error. Now, the only thing to triple check that this worked is check our to-do in the, yeah, here we go. Here it is, it's in the database. So we have our user ID, an ID for the to-do, content is test to-do, is complete, is false. So perfect. So that looked like it worked just fine. So that worked. And then if we, for some reason, deleted the cookie, or can I delete it? I don't know if I can here. Can I delete this cookie? Maybe not. I guess I could sign out. I guess I could do a post to auth sign out. Right? Sign out failure, missing or malformed credentials. Oh, because I need the right, what do I need to sign out? Oh, I need the session ID, I guess. Do I? Oh no, I just need the email. All right. So if I sign out, and then I try to go back and do the to do new, this should fail. Right? User cannot be authenticated. Perfect. Nice. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So that doesn't work when we're signed out. So that's good. All right, so that's that finished. So let's go to create router for to-dos. We did create to-do route. We did. So let's do a select all users to-dos route. So this is going to be kind of similar. So we're going to do export const. I'm going to do select all to-dos by user or from user of user. User to-dos. To-dos. Let's just say to-dos by user. And then I'm just going to do create new to-do for user. Okay. So it's going to be to-do select or all get or all to-dos. What do I call this? All by something like this. It's going to be a get. Right? And then, so we're going to need to get that in the query, right? So when we have that in the route, we're going to need to input the username or the user ID inside of the get, right? So that's fine. We can do that. We can actually do the user. We can get it by the email, I think. I could do the ID, but I'm just thinking because although for my query, this is the one thing that I'm thinking is because in the front end I have the user email inside of the auth context, but I would probably want to include the ID in the auth context as well. So that let's do that then. Let's just add that as a to-do. So web add user ID in auth context. I need to do that like up here. Why not take user ID from auth header instead of sending that in the request body? I don't know. I guess I could do it that way. I don't know. That's just how I did it. Might not be the best way of doing it, but no, you make a good point. I don't know. Because I think the idea was just to have, I guess I could have it in the header. I don't know. And then just have the content in the body. That actually might make more sense. Yeah, maybe I'll do that refactor. That's a good point. I should probably do that for all of these because it would be inside of the context anyway, or not the it would be inside of the auth context anyway. So I'll say, let's do API add or get user ID from header instead of body. Sure. I'll make this a P1 because it's not necessary, but I'm going to do it anyway. Comparison operators is always really confusing to me when you learn JS. Yeah, that's fair, Renz. I hope you're doing well, by the way. Yeah, comparison operators like and, or, greater than, less than, that sort of stuff. I'm gonna go for another hour here, I think. guess you could just include any header you want. I don't think it really. So I go to like, so it's middleware. So context header. You'd set HTTP headers for the response. Okay, but that's for the response. Let's go to the request body. C.rec.header. Okay, I see. That's a .param. Probably have the if the user ID in the header. It's query header. Here it is. C.rec.header. So I'm gonna have to remember that when I implement the web side, right, the front end. So I'm gonna do remember user ID in header for client. Okay, just gonna make sure I keep on top of that. Probably don't need this either. I hope everyone's having a good Thursday evening. It's you know, Friday tomorrow. For a lot of you, it's already Friday, which is good. Excited for the weekend. Just as a reminder too, tomorrow I won't be streaming. I'm out of. It's Friday right now. Yeah, depends where you are in the world. Yeah, for me it's Thursday night. You can see Thursday, July, 8 p.m. But yeah. Yeah, no, tomorrow I won't be live. Tomorrow and Saturday. Tomorrow I'm at going to my girlfriend's for dinner, and then Saturday I'm away at a family event, and then Sunday I should be back, probably in the afternoon or evening. I don't know. I'll probably release the schedule Saturday night as usual. But yeah, no stream tomorrow or Saturday. Because I did, I have streamed the last 5 days in a row, so yeah. Anyway, so that's the plan. So we're gonna do another hour, another 2 sessions, and yeah. So let's get the user ID from the header. So I'm gonna come up with like a name for that. I don't. It probably should be something, better here. So let's do our content, but then this is gonna be. We're going to say const user ID. Is equal to c.rec.header. And then we'll say user ID, maybe. Something like this. Again, I should probably have the name for this, like, stored somewhere. Like, I don't know. Whether it's like in a environment variable, yeah, needs put user ID header name inside in vvar or something. Actually, no, it wouldn't be in the environment variable because I'd be using it on the client inside some shared constant. I'll just do that eventually. I'll have that as like a to-do item. I'll make this a to-do actually. There we go. Okay, so then this is going to be user ID here. All right, so that's good. So I think the getter, I just want to get my queries open so that I have them as a reference. Select all user sessions. Or wait, no, that's sessions, to-dos. Select all to-dos by user ID. Yeah, so that's what I wanted. So then we're going to do our const user ID is equal to c.rec.header user ID. And the other thing I'm going to do, actually, I'm probably going to put this inside of a const user ID header name is equal to user ID. And then I'm going to shift this to do up here. And then I'm going to make this user ID header name. Okay, so we have that, and then we can do our validation here, which maybe we could include this. We could probably abstract this into its own middleware. But that would be kind of a headache because then we would need to share contexts between middlewares, which I don't know if that's possible. Actually, yeah, it is, but it's like kind of weird, I think. Right, like if I think it was under routing. Where was it anyway? Middleware. Context access, yeah, inside middleware arguments. Okay. So you can do that. But I'm not going to worry about it. We'll just have that repeated auth stuff there, and then what we'll say is we'll say const to-dos list is equal to await query dot to-do dot select all to-dos by user ID, and we'll say if to-dos list turn c.json success. Okay, and then also data to-dos list. Otherwise, I'll throw an error. You're using session token or session tokens? I'm using session tokens. Failed to fetch to-dos. Something like that. Good. So now, if I add one more to-do for the user, so let's log in. So let's get rid of this. Then we'll say email. Oh, sign in. Sorry. That's good. Okay, and then so now we have the cookie set, and then if I go to to-do /new. Oh, and the other thing is I'm going to need to invalid user ID. Why? It should be the right user ID. Because we're sending it in the header. We're sending it in the header. So now this should work. Perfect. So notice you have another to-do in here. So we have test to do and test to do 2 that are under our user ID. And then now if I do a get, which I actually need to hook it up to the router, to do .get / all. And then I'll do my auth verify. And then to do user all get. Good. So if I get all to-dos for my user ID there, I don't think I need anything in the body, but it doesn't matter. And then it should return that. Nice. Beautiful. Nice. Okay. So that worked. Very good. Now, if let's just test signing out again. So we'll post auth/sign out. Then I need the email. Okay, now we're signed out. And then if I do to-do /all, this should fail. Yep, perfect. Fantastic. Very good. So there's that route done. So get user ID from header, we did that, select all user to-dos, add user ID in auth context. Yeah, we should probably do that next. Although actually no, let's just write the rest of these. So let's do modify to do and then our delete to do. Although I need another one, I think. So I need an API. What would it be? It would be select to do, or be like a to do, and then it would be like a get to do by ID route or something. Probably P0, I want to say, but I'll do that. Should probably do that one first, and then I'll do modify delete. I think that's it, because what queries do I have? I have select all to-dos, select to do by ID, update to do, toggle. Oh yeah, I need a toggle. So that's another one. As well. So when I change that, although that's probably can be done in the modify to do route, right? Although I kind of have update to do content. I should probably actually include, I should probably refactor the toggle to do and to the update to do realistically. So I only have to hit one endpoint. It just minimizes complexity. Yo, what's up, Jameer? So let's actually do that. Let's do that refactor real quick. Can you show me how to generate session token and store them? Yeah, so I use let me see. Let me find this. It would be in my auth controller. So when I sign in, I'm generating a session token using my utility, which uses the crypto library. It's just 16 random bytes, and then I convert them to hex. And then I store them inside of a cookie, like right here. And I also store them inside of the session table inside my database using my custom query here. So that's how I do that. Again, is it the most secure solution? Probably not, but it's mine, so it doesn't matter. So that's fine. So anyway, but yeah, like, so then if I go to the sessions here, so you can see my different sessions that I have, and they're both for the same user, but they have different tokens and different IDs, and they both have an expiry, right? So they these expire at whatever date, whatever time that is, 6/18/22. That's, so these should have already expired. Does session token know who token is? What? Does session token know which token it is? Not sure what you mean by that. But it does point to the user ID. I think these are stale. You mean for which user? Yeah, it does. The session knows which user it's attached to, right here. We do that when we insert it, we include the user record ID. And then the token and the expires at, and then the session ID is just generated. I mean, I probably could have used the session ID as a token, but whatever, doesn't matter. It's just my own implementation. So, yeah. Okay. So, what do we want to do right now? We want to refactor this query for the database to have, let's do new content, and then we'll do new is complete. But I need to check if this is defined, right? So new content. So let's call this update to do by ID. And then .set content is new content. But I don't know how to conditionally set this, if the content is defined or not. I guess I could do new content, like or content, no? Or I don't know. Let's see. It would be inside of here somewhere. Update. Oh, I could just do or to do dot content. Can I not do or here? Ah, I can. Okay, so that should be fine. So if there's no new content given, then I just keep it the same. Okay, so for my opinion, you should get session token, that what user sends to you, and then get user ID from your DB that match the session token is in your solution. Can just create to-do item for some other user. You can't though. I don't think. Because when we verify, every time that we create a to-do, we have to verify the session, right? And the session depends on the token that's in the cookie, right? So the token, so like when I, for example, although maybe you're right, actually, I wonder if that is true. I wonder if you might be onto something, because but it would depend on knowing the user ID of another user, right? So that's like an unlikely thing to happen, because I suppose what you could do is you could authenticate through one user, but then inside of the header of the request, you could have a user ID of another user, right? I see what you're saying. I think that might be something you can do, and I kind of actually want to test that now. So if I send in header your user ID, that's exactly what I see you. So let's actually test that out then. I'm kind of curious if that's actually true, because we could have a different cookie than what's in the header, right? Yeah, I guess that's true. But either way, somebody has to be authenticated. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So then I wonder if I should check in the header of, I'm just thinking about how I would fix this. Because inside of this header, I don't know how I'd fix that. So you should send only user ID from DB that's signing to specific session token. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, Skillful. I'm already doing that. The session token is only assigned to a user ID. It's not assigned to the user email. It's only assigned to an ID. There's no user. It's just the user ID here. Unless you mean that it's connected to a user like this, like through this view, like with this relation. That might be true. I don't know. You know what? To be honest with you, I'm not going to worry about that right now. But you might be onto something. But that's good to bring up, and I do appreciate that you bring that up. But I think for now, that's like kind of like I'm not actually sure if that would work, because at least for if someone was hacking the server, maybe, but for anyone in the front end, they wouldn't be able to do that. For creating to do, you're using the user ID that is sent to him in header. Am I right? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm using the user ID in the header. But you're right. I should probably also do something to ensure that's the one that matches the session, right? So then, in which case, for the verifier, let me go to my auth controller. We have our token. Oh, but no, to verify though, when you verify, it has to match the session. So, okay, let me go through this for a second. So, I think this is actually fine, because, and I could be wrong here, but so like, okay, so this auth verifies middleware, right? Server knows by session token who send that you don't need to send user ID to verify that. Yeah. Fair enough, but I have this, like, for the to-do middleware, right? I have the verifier as middleware before you're allowed to create a new to-do or get to-dos, right? So in this verifier middleware, you have to get the token from the client, which is what this does. And then that token, you get the user from that token, right? But I see what you're saying. You should be able to then pass that to the, you shouldn't have to send the user ID in the header. I see what you're saying. You should be able to pass that along to this from this verification. So in this next, I should be able to pass along the user ID. I see what you're saying now. I think that's what you're implying, right? So because we have this auth verify as middleware that sits between or sits before us posting a new to-do, instead of including the user ID inside of that, we should just be able to pass the user ID along to it through the middleware, which only works if you have the token. I get you now. I understand what you're talking about. Okay, so I think that actually is something we could do. But no, I see what you're saying. Okay, so that's clever catch. So let's say API pass user ID to do middleware from verify middleware. I'm gonna make this a P1 because it's not strictly necessary, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Just query session, take user ID from that. Yeah. Or even better, I think I can just pass it to, like, for example, when I call await next here, I think I can pass in some params into this, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Because we're already verifying the session through this middleware, right? So I would want to pass that session user along. Or session record dot user ID. So I want to do, let's see how I can do that. I need the middleware. Can I pass data along inside of the next? I think I must be able to, right? Or the other, well, no, because that's not good, because then I'm, like, can I pass data through this, right? Oh, c.set, okay. C.set. Oh, so you're setting context. C.var.user. Ah, okay. So what if I did this then? So what if I did c.set user ID as session record dot user ID, and then in here I do c.var.user ID. Like that, right? And then so we're getting that from, I think, right? I think that would work. So let's try that out. All right, so if I log in, this should just work, or sign in, I should say. Sign in, okay. And then so let's add our password. That's not right. So let's do posts. Okay, so we're signed in, and then we do to do and then new. And then we just give it the content. Let's just do test to do 3. Then this should work. And I can remove this header. So if I remove this header, actually, let's just can it. Oh, that worked. That's cool. Okay. Skillful. Thank you for that. That is really cool. Okay. Nice. All right, so I'm going to commit just that one. So off controller, I'm going to do, and I'm going to say API pass user ID to next middleware in as variable. Thank you. But I get what you're talking about now. See, that's something I would have missed. This is instead of sending user ID in body / header, which could allow other users to modify to-dos this way, modify, or CRUD to-do, CRUD is tied to the session. There we go. Nice. Cool. All right, let's take one last 5-minute break here. I'm just going to go run real quick to fill up my water bottle. I'll be right back. Or it's not even a water bottle, it's a cup, actually. So I'll be right back. All right. I'm back. What's my keyboard? So big commit message? Yes, very big. Nice to see you, by the way, Jill. I hope you're doing well, my friend. It's been a while, but happy to see you. My keyboard, I got you. Although I have been noticing some double presses with some of the keys. Like I think the X sometimes double presses. I don't know, maybe not. But the semicolon does sometimes. Yeah, like it just did it there. So I think that's a switch problem. I'm probably gonna have to order a new switch for underneath that key. But the good news about the key, this one, the Nuphy Kick, is that I think the keys are hot swappable. I think. So I can just order one new switch and then fix that key, I think. So I need to research. I think I use brown switches. I'd have to look it up because I don't remember exactly. But yeah. Other than that, it's a great keyboard. It's wireless, yes, it is. Does need charging though, obviously. Yep, same with my mouse too. I use an MX Master 2S as my mouse, and I would have gone with the 3X, but it was too expensive. And the 2S was on sale, and I got this probably 2 years ago, maybe. I don't know. I got it for school, but I still use it, and it serves me just fine. It was like $100, or maybe a little less than that. How long does it last? Which, the keyboard? Like the battery? The battery, I'd say you get probably like a couple weeks. Depends how often you use your computer. I would say like I would say maybe like 24 hours of use, maybe. I don't know exactly, but something like that. Like for me, it lasts around a week to a week and a half. So yeah, I mean, but you don't really. It doesn't matter because like I have a USB-C that I have attached to my power bar, so I just like plug it in whenever it needs to be charged. And you don't need to use it wirelessly. It does have a wired option, which is just through the USB-C. And then there's also a wireless adapter that you can plug in. So you can connect via Bluetooth to 3 devices. And then there is a USB-A that you can use as a wireless adapter to the 4th device. You need to buy a Nuphy Air 75 V3. Yeah, I actually had the keyboard I had before this was a Nuphy Air 75 V1 that I got years and years ago. I think over COVID, actually. It was a V1, and it busted about a year ago because I spilt tea on it by accident. So it wouldn't have died if it wasn't for me being clumsy. But yeah, that killed it. So then about a year ago, I got the kick. I like the kick because it's got a little bit more heft to it. I do like the low profile, like the lower profile mechanical with the Nuphy. But I like the kick because it has like some heft, and it doesn't like, I don't find it shifts around on the table a lot. It kind of has like nice grips on the bottom. I know the Air is good too, but I find the Air a little too small for my liking. Like it's a little too low profile. I like kind of having a little bit of a weighted thing. So again, that's just my preference, but the click sound is really good. But for me, I really like a numpad keyboard. I see, for me, I don't care. I don't care for the numpad at all. I do like having the function keys. I like the function keys, and I like this little knob, which does control the volume. But I'm on multi-output right now for stream. But yeah, the function row for me is essential, but the numpad isn't. Anyway, I'm going to do one more 25-minute working session, and then I'm going to end off the stream. And then just as a reminder to everybody, I'm not going to be live again until Sunday of this week. Not sure when Sunday, but I'll get back to you on that. So anyway, let's keep going. But yeah, all right, so that was that. And then, so what do we need to do next? I think we just need to continue writing our middlewares, right? So we have to do user all get. Oh yeah, did I refactor the query? Oh yeah, I did. Okay, so let's, or did I even finish refactoring this? I don't think I actually did. So let's actually just finish this off real quick. And then we'll do user, or new is complete. Is going to be new is complete, or to-do.is complete. Right, so then if this is undefined, then it'll default to this one. I think that's how that behavior works. So that's good. All right, and then let's just make that commit. It'd be here, I think, to do queries. So let's do db refactor modify to do query into 1. That's good. Let's see. I also think, I'm not sure about this, Johnny, but I think you can get numpad Nuphy keyboards, like 90% keyboards. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Update to do content route. Pass user ID to middleware from verify middleware. We did that already. Get to do by ID route. So let's do that one. Actually, I'm going to have my queries open so that I know roughly what I need to implement. So it's going to be select to do by ID. So let's do that. Select or to do or get. I should say get to do by ID. get all, and then I'm going to do post new to do for user, get to do by ID. Okay, so export const to do user, or to do get, or to do by ID get. .100 version has numpads? Yeah. I didn't know if it was 90% or 100%. And then this as well. Although we probably really don't need this because realistically, if the user ID, I mean, it's fine for having, but it's probably overkill. So we can do a const to do item is equal to await query dot, oh, and then I also need the, body is equal to, let's get the, or no, it would be in the query, would it not? In the, because I need the to do item ID, right? So I need the, I need to get that from where? Probably, if it's a get, it probably needs to come from the yeah, so maybe the request. I think query. I think we'll do query. So we'll say const to do ID is equal to c.rec.query ID. Although, because if we have that to do, when we create the to do here, we should probably send back the ID. As data, right? Because we're going to need to have this ID attached to it, right? Like when I edit a to-do item, it needs to have its ID attached. I guess it will though, because when we return it here, it has its ID here. So I guess that's fine. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so it's good. We'll have it anyway. We'll have it anyway in the front end. Okay, so now we can do if not to do ID or type of to do ID is not equal to string, then we'll do do I throw an HTTP exception or do I return an error? I don't know. I want to say throw an exception. But I think that would be $400. Be a 400 here. Failed to get to do item. Invalid to do ID. Or I'll say unknown. Now we can do const. We can do const to do item, is equal to query dot to do dot select to do by ID, and then we pass in the to do ID, and then if to do item why is this erroring out? Oh yeah, oh wait. There we go. Is this hard to get a job in USA, Canada in software development? I'm from Europe and thinking about something new. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm not probably the best to answer that question because I've never had a job in software dev, but from an IT perspective, it's doable. I will say, especially if you have the skills. I think the bigger hurdle for you, Skillful, especially considering you seem like a rather knowledgeable individual, the bigger hurdle will be just like getting the work permit and like the visa or whatever it is, like that kind of legal stuff. I think is probably going to be a bigger hurdle than actually finding work. Because I don't know, and it depends where you would apply to, because some companies I think will give you like a work visa or something, especially for the US. I don't know about Canada specifically because I haven't like applied anywhere. Like I'm also like I'm a Canadian citizen, so I wouldn't know. But I know friends. I have a friend from here from Canada that works in the US, and he was given a US work visa from his employer. And he works in big tech, so like makes sense, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. From an IT perspective though, like absolutely, there are jobs. I think especially in and this is something that a lot of people don't realize, is the government and public sector in Canada is rather big because we have a lot of social services that are funded, publicly funded, right? Like through tax dollars. And a lot of like not-for-profit agencies that are funded through government grant money, right? And there's a lot of IT jobs in there, in those kinds of companies, right? That I feel like are not taken very much. Because why? And there's two main reasons. Well, there's really the main reason is pay. Because they're government funded through tax money, the pay is not competitive. However, what you're lacking in pay, you're getting in work-life balance and stability, right? So at least for me, that is my job is in one of these government funded public sector agencies, right? So my pay is not good at all compared to a lot of software engineers, but I have good benefits. I have very stable job, I would think, unless my employer finds this or something. But I don't even know. I don't really diss them that much. It's a good job. It is kind of BS. I mean, I diss them sometimes in the Discord but that's just like corporate jobs in general. Corporate jobs are kind of just BS in general. But it's stable, good benefits, and good work-life balance, right? Like when my workday ends, unless there's an emergency, I can like not worry about work or anything until the next day, or even if it's the weekend, I can just like completely tune it out, right? Like it's as if it doesn't exist, right? I can just turn off my laptop and, just go about my weekend or whatever. So I think there's a lot of benefits there. Anyway, all that's to say, I think, yes, there are definitely jobs. There are also software jobs, I think, in those public sectors. They might be harder to find. But I would imagine Europe would have similar opportunities. I don't know for sure, but I know Europe's fairly, there's a lot of social services there too, so I don't know. But it's definitely worth looking into. Sorry, that was kind of ranty, but all right, let's get back to this. So if there's a new to-do return, we'll say success, and then we'll do did this do a double comma as well? I don't know. We'll do our data is the to-do item, right? And then otherwise we will say throw new 500 something like this. All right, so now we should be able to do that. So let's add to the router. This should be a getter as well. So we're going to do to do. Actually, I'm probably going to put this here, and then so we'll say. I don't think I need to include queries inside of as like a. Because if I get the query here, so let's say to-do.get. Get or fetch maybe or find, and then we'll do or honestly maybe we could just do the root. No, let's just do get item. Or to-do item, or slash item. Let's just slash item. Forget to update message in first. What do you mean? Oh, I did? Which error? To-do ID get. Oh, yeah, you're right. I got you. Thanks for catching that, Jill. Okay, now to do it would be user to do ID get. So now let's test this out. So we'll do. So I think we're still authenticated, yeah. So let's do item or to do item, and then we'll say ID, or is it ID equals, and then we need to get the ID from here. So let's get the ID for our first test to do. So we'll say ID is this. 404 not found. Oh, because it's a get. Right. Still 404. Is this wrong? Is this the wrong format? I don't know. Should be slash item. I don't know. Let me read the chat. Yes, for me, stability is the main thing I need. Do you also have 5 or more steps interviews? Oh, God, no. 1 step. Maybe 2, depending on the job. 1 or 2. My job specifically was 1 interview, which was about 2 hours, give or take, an hour and a half. And then, but other jobs, like if you're getting into a managerial position, it might be more like 2 or 3 stages, but it's not like 6 stages or whatever. It's ridiculous. You have 6 years commercial experience, even in one company in US called Pure Storage. Gotcha. Yeah, no, I think it would be relocation would be your biggest hurdle for sure. And it also depends what country you're coming from. Like, I mean, if it's an EU country, I think you're good. Because I think all EU countries are treated the same, I think. But if you're in a non-EU country, it would be different depending on where you are. But yeah. Right? So and it's actually interesting because I could, my mom's side of the family is all Portuguese. So I actually could, if I wanted to, I could get a EU citizenship, which I've actually thought of. From Poland, got you. Is Poland in the EU? I would assume it is. Or is it not? Because they have their own currency. I know that. I know Poland, I think they have their own currency, right? So maybe they're not. Maybe they're not in the EU. Can you speak Portuguese? No, not really. I can understand a little bit. My mom and my grandparents are fluent, though. And my whole mom's side of the family is fluent. Well, I don't know about fluent, but my mom can understand fluently. But my grandparents are fluent. Oh, you're from Portugal? Nice. That's awesome. Actually, my grandparents immigrated from the Azores, like the Azores Islands. I know I'm mispronouncing that, but that's where they're from. We have our own currency, but we're in UA. Oh, got you. Okay, I didn't know that you could. I guess England was in. I guess England was in the EU before Brexit, and they had the pound, so that makes sense. So yeah, all right. So I don't know why this isn't working. Let me figure it out. So it'd be, oh, because there's no slash. It would just be this. There it is. Found it. That's why. There's no slash inside of the query. Okay. Or after the query. There we go. Cool. Very good. And then we get our test to do here, which matches that ID that we gave it. 579C right there. So that's good. Yay. All right. So how many more do I have? I think I have a modify one. So update to do by, I think it's also by ID, is it not? I think so. So if I go to my queries, it would be update to do by ID. Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is very similar to this. Probably copy it. To do ID update by ID post. It's all the same. Failed to update to item. And then to do ID we get from the query. Failed to update. Oh, and the other thing I'm going to need is I'm going to need to get the. I actually probably don't need it inside of the. I could probably get the to do from the body, right? Now that I think about it. So I actually might need to do the body. So let's delete all this for a minute here. What about to do ID? I mean params not in query. I could do that. That would be equally as valid, I think, Gio, for sure. You could do that. But I mean, it's kind of like you could do either or, right? It's the same logic either way, just slightly different implementation. But that would also work. All right, so for this post, I think I'm going to actually just send everything inside of the. We'll just do it inside of the body, unless I fetch. Well, no, because I need to get. Yeah, no. Okay, so this is fine. So we'll do c.rec.body or .json. Sorry, I think, right? And then it's yeah, and then I include that in the type here. So then we're gonna do ID is string, content is string, and then the is completed. So like this, and again, eventually for the next thing, I would want to use. Yo, how's it going, Casey? Hope you're doing well. For the next project, I want to use Zod here. Oh, it depends on API design, but I've seen more to-dos ID. That's fair. We can do that implementation. I'm totally happy with that implementation. So we can just change that to that, and then in the router we can just do /item ID like this. So that would be the same thing. So now instead of this, I just do this, and then that should now work. Yep. Cool. Yeah, Zod for parsing the data would be a great idea. Yeah. I might actually do that as a, so I'm going to do it right now this way, skillful, but then eventually I think, yeah. So I'm going to do db /API for this. So I'm going to have this as a P1. So I might do that refactor at the end of the project. So add Zod validations / shared types. Because I think actually I'm gonna make this a P2 probably, because it's not like strictly necessary. Although actually I kind of like the idea of doing it, so I'll make it P1. The Hano works with Zod as well, right? So Hano has Zod stuff, I think. I think you can use Zod at least. I think Zod. Yeah. So you can use Zod open API at Hano. So yeah, you can use Zod with that, and you can also use it with Drizzle too, which is good. So cool. Now let's. Oh, I didn't delete this. I need to delete this one because I don't need that anymore. All right, so let's call that. Oh wait, wrong. To controller. So we're just gonna do, okay. So there's our body, and then we're gonna say if not body dot ID or wait, why is this giving me errors? Does this have to be awaited? It does, yes, okay. Okay. I actually am going to extend this stream a little more, and I'm going to finish off this update by ID and then the delete to do middlewares, and then I'm going to end it off just so it's a clean spot, right? So, yeah. So let's do that. So or body dot or type of. It doesn't really matter if the content is complete is defined because they're optional inside of here anyway, so it's not a breaking issue if they're not defined. So then I'll just do this. It'll be a 400. Failed to update to do item invalid to do ID. And I want to actually put this above this. What the hell? Hold on. Okay. Great, I can't sleep, so I'll stay. It's 3 a.m. Got you, skillful. I appreciate you sticking around and chatting, by the way. It's been really nice. Poland might be a new country. I kind of want to do a poll of my community of all of the different countries you guys are from, because like it's so cool. Like my mod in my Discord is from Croatia. I've got a lot of folks in India, Nepal, Bangladesh, like people in the UK, people in the States, others in Canada as well, someone in Australia, South Africa, like all over the place. It's really cool. You like to share experience with others? Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know. I'm just going to power through. I'm not going to bother with this break. I'm just going to keep going just to get this done. Okay, so that's good. And then we'll do consts updated to do item. We'll say is await query dot to do dot update to do by ID, and then we give our body dot ID, body dot content, body dot is complete. Why? Oh, because this needs to be a Boolean. Right. There we go. Okay, so then we'll say if updated to do item, and I think I'm returning this dot return. Or do I not need that? Maybe not. Maybe I do. I don't know. I'll put that in there anyway. But no, I totally appreciate you dealing, like putting up with, I don't know if I say putting up, but I am a way less experienced developer than a lot of folks out there. So it's kind of nice that you guys have the patience for me, because I don't know. I feel like, you know, not behind necessarily, but I feel very much like a beginner, I guess. All right, so if updated to do item, then we will return c.json success. And then data is just the updated to do item. Else we'll throw a 500 error. Failed to update to do item. Internal server error. Okay. So that's good. So that should now update the stuff, right? So if I change one of the to-dos, so let's go into here. And then we'll say we actually need to add it to the you know what I actually want to do? I want to get the body is just content and is complete. And then I want to do the to do ID is the await, or just c dot rec dot param. And then this is just to do ID. I should probably throw this up here. You already know front end, now back end. It's almost end of intermediate if we ignore DSA part, I guess, which we both suck at. That's fair enough, Gio. I honestly, you know what's funny is I don't feel like I'm actually that bad at DSA. I feel like I'm like okay at it. I feel like I'm okay at DSA because that was what my degree focused on. I had one coworker who didn't know how to declare a variable, and that my patience was tested. Oh, geez. That's actually crazy. But you know, it's interesting because I work in IT, right? And IT is very much, where is there an error in here? I don't know where the error is. IT is very much not, you don't need programming, right? So I'm probably the only person on my IT team that actually like knows how to code. So yeah, I don't know where this error is. Ah, it's here, okay. There we go, that fixed it, okay. So let's test this now. So, oh yeah, I need to hook it up to the router. This would be a post, to-do.post, update ID, and then we'll say auth verify and to do update by ID post. There we go. All right, so now if we include our content, so we'll say test to do updated, and then we'll do is complete to true. And we include the to do, and then we'll say update. Because it's a post request. Nice. You would put not post? Interesting. Is that what you do for updates? I've just been in just item ID. Yeah. Okay, actually that's fair. That's fair. I'll just do this. So now this should be updated in here. Yeah, okay. And then for the getter, let's just do the getter again, just to make sure that works. So let's do our getter. And then let's do updated again. And then we'll do a put. And then we'll change it back to false. Although that should have changed. Why didn't that change to false again? Or does it need to be as a string? I don't think so. Oh, no, maybe it does. There we go. That actually fixed it. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's a fair practice. I get that. I get doing that for sure. Cool. See, and if it wasn't for you guys, like, I'd be missing out on these like tips, right? Like, I really appreciate you guys like giving me pointers. Like, it's really cool. So that's good. So, all right, so that works. And then now we just need the deleter. Right? So export const to do delete, or to do delete. I guess it would just be a delete to do item delete, I guess. To do ID delete. And then async C context. And then we'll get our user ID again. Or do I even need the user ID? What do I need the user ID in here for? I actually don't think I need it. Or maybe I do for this validation step. We'll just do that. Failed to delete. Okay. Now, for delete to do by ID, I should probably also be passing in the user ID to verify it is his to-do item. Yeah, exactly. I think that's just what this is for, right? We don't actually need to pass it to the query. We just need to verify that it's the right user ID. Although actually no, we should probably pass it to the query, right? So we should actually update that. So I'll actually change that. Bro, are you watching World Cup? I have been following it, Rahul. I should do that for the updater as well, actually, now that I think about it. Last match was insane. Argentina clutched. Yeah, I think it was rigged. I think it was rigged. Oh, because we need to pass in the user ID. There we go. I should probably do this for this getter too. So I'm just going to modify that. Oh wait, no, not that one. This one. There we go. Everyone's reaction to Argentina winning in a game, yeah. No, but specifically that one felt dirty. I don't know. That one felt dirty. To do queries, let's just say db update to do queries to include user ID. So I'm going to say get by ID, update by ID, and delete by ID. Queries affected, these ones. Okay, nice. All right, now, so that's good. So I pass that into here, there, and then this is all get, and then our delete. I'm rooting for Spain, me too. Even though they beat Portugal, I don't want Messi to win again. So it's a necessary evil, unfortunately. I was rooting for Canada, obviously, and Portugal, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess. To do update, okay, so we're gonna get, so we don't actually need anything here. We just need the ID, right? So this is just gonna be, we'll get it as a param. So we'll just copy this guy. Oops. So we get the ID from param, and then fail to delete. And then Argentina will win this. Hey man, good luck. Appreciate that, Alto. Yeah, they probably will win it, Skillful. My country might have qualified if it wasn't so much corruption in India's football federation. Yeah. Honestly, I did wonder about that because like India is a huge country with like probably so much talent, right? But I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, all right. So let's go to const deleted to do item is query dot to do dot delete to do by ID, and then so we have the to do ID and the user ID, and then we'll just say if deleted to do item, and this needs to be awaited, of course. Then we'll say return c.json success. Okay, and then data is the deleted to do item. Otherwise, we'll return a 500 error. Failed to delete to do item. We'll say internal server error. Good. And then we'll add that to our router. So to do dot delete. And then auth verify, and then to do ID delete. Okay. Cool. There are a lot of talented players, but they won't ever get the chance. There's an Indian U15 team. They recently won the Helsinki Cup, but they would get a position in the qualifying matches ever due to corruption. Yeah, honestly, that sucks, Rahul. I don't even know what the situation is over there, but that sucks. I think I think that there's like corruption in a lot of sports agencies, but yeah. I guess deleted to item will be undefined, but I could be wrong. Well, so in the query, Skillful, I do this dot returning, which will actually return the deleted to do, I think, because if I go to the documentation and I go to delete, and I do returning, it'll actually return it like this, see? So you can actually, like when you call it, you can return it, what was deleted. So I think it would be defined, right? It basically is just spitting back out as a response the deleted ID, or the deleted to-do item. And that also is cool because it lets you like undo it, I guess. I could put in that functionality, but yeah, so technically we're sending that back to the client. So, I mean, we could do something with that if we wanted to. Anyway. Okay, one thing I hate about VS Code is that you can select things and drag it with your mouse. Fucking annoying. But anyway, like if I wanted to just select this and drag it up, I could do that. but it's stupid. Anyway, all right, let's just test this deletion. So then I think this would just be a delete. And then I think that would just delete this guy, right? So let's give it a whirl. Yeah, so then, all right, so we did that, and it looked like it was fine. And then we go to our studio, and then we should see this entry disappear. Perfect. There we go. So let's commit this. Let's say API to do CRUD middleware and routes. There we go. And we'll sync all 8 of our commits that we did today. So anyway, that's going to be it for me today, I think. It's getting late here. Well, it's certainly late where you are, Skillful. But yeah, 9:17. I should probably, you know, shower and get to bed. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you want to see more of these streams, I'll be back Sunday evening or afternoon my time. Check the Discord for stream updates as usual. So if you aren't already in there, you know, join that if you're curious and want to go live. I post weekly schedules and also notify when I go live, so you'll get a notification if you have notifications on for the server. Yeah, so subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys around. Thank you.